Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. All about nutrition from your favorite dietitian. Everything you need to digest in your mind. Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. Making you healthier one bite at a time. With Tony. Woo.
Hello, and welcome to the Tips with Tony podcast. I'm Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time. I am so excited for you to meet my very next guest. I have virtually in front of me, Beth Feraco. She is a nutrition coach, personal trainer, strength training coach, mindset coach. She does all the things. And she's also, I would call her TikTok famous and Insta famous, actually, of just someone who really does challenge the BS claims out there, the influencer accounts that have no credentials or any business giving out any sort of nutrition advice. And she will challenge them and explain in ways that are simple and easy for you to understand, but also are really kind of calling you out or calling the creator out on things that are just absolutely ridiculous that we just need to stop doing. So, Beth, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for what you do, and welcome to the Tips with Tony podcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
You're so welcome. So the first question I always ask my guests is to introduce yourself by sharing who you are, what you do, and most importantly, why you do what you do.
So my name is Beth Wilkas Feraco. Obviously, you said I was like a personal trainer, nutrition coach, mindset coach, but also, I'm a recovering alcoholic. So I bring a lot of that into my coaching as well, because, people like to compare food and alcohol and all that stuff. And I think I really want to change people's mindset when it comes to their relationship with food, yo-yo dieting, just their behaviors and mindset altogether. It's not all about losing weight. It's also about changing your mindset around food and just building a lifestyle that you can stick to. That's really my goal, helping people become their best self without, without
sacrifice,
doing all these things to themselves because of stuff they're not dealing with, really, their emotions or stress, and becoming their best.
No, I agree. I love it. I absolutely love it. And it's funny enough that you, I did want you to actually talk about, I don't know, I said funny, that's not funny at all. But you talked about your sobriety, and I actually think that's a topic of conversation that's been coming up really actually pretty often in just like side conversations with other professionals, and how the word food addiction kind of gets thrown around as this thing that's almost like I've heard like sugar's as addicting as heroin. Like, no, it's not. And I just would love for you to kind of help people understand the difference between a drug or alcohol addiction and I'm using air quotes, and a food addiction. Not to dismiss if you have a tarnished relationship with food and your addiction, you feel like you are addicted to food, not to dismiss that. We're not dismissing your feelings, but to help people understand that it's actually not the same. And we're going to get into strategies and reasons why and how to help with both. But I would love for you to just speak on that a little bit.
So, with alcohol, I think people don't realize that you're just not born an alcoholic, right? It's a progressive disease. So, you could be drinking for years before your body actually becomes physically addicted. As with food, it's more of a behavioral and emotional and your relationship with food, and what is going out, your outside sources, whether you call food good or bad. So you restrict and then you end up binging, or you use food as a means to cope. Rather, alcohol is a literal poison, right? Right. Food, we use for other reasons. First, we need to nourish our bodies. That's, we have to eat.
But we can't not eat. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't need alcohol. I think also alcohol is pushed as being something that's glorified, and it's not. It's not funny when a parent is taking a sippy cup to a soccer game with Jack Daniels in it. But that's the society we live in, and people really like to categorize and put people in little boxes, like, well, you're an alcoholic, and and I'm addicted to food. They're the same thing. They're not the same thing. Like you're not going to kill someone on the side of the road because you had a donut. You're not going to be sent to jail. You're not going to, destroy your family. The list is endless. You're not going to die of like liver cancer.
You're not going to end up homeless. Like a lot of people with drug and alcohol addiction end up homeless.
So, and I really understand, like you may think that you're addicted to food because it's something that's driving you, right? But you're using food as a means to cope. An alcoholic wakes up and they need that physically need that drink, or they will, some will go into delirium tremens or, really bad side effects if you get to that point. They will do anything. They will sell things to get what they need to buy the alcohol.
Yeah.
Or you're not going to see someone in their hallway, like with a thing of sugar, taking spoonfuls.
Right. Or robbing someone so they can get that spoonful.
Right?
Yeah.
So I just like to, spread awareness really, and actually how alcohol, is so glorified really. And that, people really, they'll put someone else down for drinking a Diet Coke. People are, ingredients people, right? But meanwhile, they're binge drinking on the weekends. Like that makes no sense to me.
Yeah, no, your TikToks on that literally have me dying because you go all out. I love when people go into character. It's just like, but it nails the point. It's so true. But yeah. Yeah, because I think society, and that just goes to show, like diet culture has deemed something like Diet Coke as something that's quote unquote bad, but that has accepted that like social drinking is okay. But then I think the parallel, actually, the similarity is like someone could be struggling with an eating disorder and in living in this world of like diet culture, and it could go unrecognized. Whereas at the same time, is because of the societal norms around alcohol, someone can actually be struggling with an alcohol addiction and you wouldn't even know because it's so normalized in society. Meanwhile, when they're home, you didn't realize that this is their 10th drink of the day, not their third around you, whatever it is. Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing that. I think that's super helpful. How long have you been sober? How many years has it been?
It will be 7 years in August.
And now I might be jumping a little bit, but is that what was like is that what changed? Like, is that why you do what you do today? Like what led you to, was that like the pivotal moment that motivated you to take action, everything?
So long story short, I decided to quit drinking in August. I think it was 2015. It was my anniversary with my husband, and I drove home from a cookout with my son and my stepdaughter, and I must have had like a bottle of wine. And I don't remember. Nothing happened. Everyone's safe, but that was the pivotal moment for me when I was like, I need to change my life.
Thank God.
Or I will end up killing myself, my kids, or someone else. So there was an AA meeting literally a block from my house. Probably the hardest thing I had to do. Like, we don't want to say like I have a problem. I'm going to go into an AA meeting and be like, my name is Beth. I'm an alcoholic. That was like probably the most humbling experience. Right? So from there, I actually met a girl, and we started doing boot camp stuff in the morning. I met her like at 5:30 in the morning, and my AA meeting was at 7. So I would go work out with her, and then go to my AA meeting. She ended up getting a job a couple months down the road, personal training somewhere, and we couldn't meet anymore. At the same time, a gym opened up down the street, so I started taking classes there, and then I would go to my AA meeting after. The gym at the time was looking for a front desk person. So I was like, oh, this would be perfect. This is my first job after my son was born. I was a stay-at-home mom for a while. So I started doing that. And then my boss at the time, who's my really good friend now, was like, I feel like you'd be a really good coach. Do you want to intern? And I was like, yes, that'd be amazing. So from there, it just really stemmed. I got certified in nutrition and everything else and worked there in person for like 4 or 5 years. And then decided to do my own online coaching.
Good for you. That's awesome. See what happens when you listen to your gut of like something's got to give, something's got to change. And then there's all these other positive changes that come from it. So I guess, I can't not, I want to take this opportunity, if it's okay, actually, to educate maybe someone who's listening. Maybe they're like do I have a problem? Like, is it too much? Like, is there, what were, other than like that pivotal moment, like what were the signs leading up to that where you realized, okay, I'm not drinking socially anymore. Right. This is not something I have a handle on. Like what sort of things were coming up for you?
I think, with it was like a few years of always, and this is where like actually food and like, kind of like eating disorder type tendencies I was doing, right? Like I would do fad diets so I could quit drinking. Okay. I would do like 30-day paleo. You needed yeah. And I was like, okay, that'll stop me from drinking. And then of course, when that stopped, then I would start drinking again, or I would do like a 14-day fast so I can quit drinking. It was always like there was some form of food related diet so I could quit drinking. I could never stick to something, and I always went back to it. And every time I went back to drinking, it was a lot worse. And then I started hiding alcohol from my husband. So yeah, when you start hiding the stuff, I was, and it was something that I always like was thinking, I was like, I can't stop drinking. Like I really can't. Something has to be done. And you just keep going that over and over, like something has to be done. I didn't do it. Something has to be done. Don't do it. And, what I've realized now working with a lot of women in their 40s is that a lot more women have issues with alcohol than I actually even realized just from coaching. I don't care if someone drinks, right? But that when you're coaching someone and they're finding it even hard to give up, like, let's say everyday wine or going out every weekend, they're like, I just can't see not doing it. So we'll do like 30-day challenges. If you can, stop for 30 days and just, see how you feel. And if you cannot see yourself doing that, then you should question your relationship with alcohol.
Yeah, 100%. That's very helpful. It's very helpful. And one thing I'm glad you mentioned about kind of feeling like you needed to do some sort of an extreme in order to get yourself to stop. That this is where I think people probably do struggle with their relationship with food. Because you might have, maybe whether you have alcohol dependence or not, or you're struggling with alcoholism or not, it is a lot, I don't want to say easier, but it's more acceptable to go completely sustaining it rather than like trying to figure out how not to, especially if you're an alcoholic, the rules, or if you have any sip, you're considered back at day zero, right? Is that correct? So the all or nothing mentality in that sense can be helpful, but I think people try to use that with food. But like you said, we need food to cope, right? So like they'll do these all or nothing challenges with like no sugar, no carbs, or whatever it is that they're struggling with, no late night eating or eating out, or I don't know, whatever they make up in their heads. Yeah. I'm curious, like how you've been able to separate, or maybe how you help clients who might be struggling with alcoholism, separating the all or nothing mentality with that and having it be helpful there, but not so helpful when it comes to their relationship with food. I had to interrupt this podcast to let you know that my team and I will be hosting a Breaking Through Binging virtual workshop series. We are starting it on Tuesday, March 29th. We will be going live for 3 consecutive days on Zoom. So Tuesday, March 29th, Wednesday, March 30th, and Thursday, March 31st, where we're going to be teaching you how to break through binging. Whether you struggle with binging or emotional eating, or both, this is for you. Thinking about what to eat shouldn't be stressful. Eating shouldn't be stressful. And after eating shouldn't be stressful. People who struggle with binging carrying a lot of guilt and shame with them wherever they go. And we're really looking forward to helping you relieve some of that. This is why we're super excited to host a virtual workshop series, Breaking Through Binging. By the end of this series, you'll be thinking about food differently, eating differently, and even processing your actions differently. Over the 3 days, you'll learn the difference between emotional eating and binging and how to measure progress in both. You'll understand your triggers and the habits and behaviors necessary to develop in order to mitigate those. And you'll gain clarity on what a life without binging looks like and how you can achieve it. Go to the link in the show notes to sign up so that you don't miss this incredible virtual workshop series. And yes, you will get access to the replay if you can't attend live. However, only if you go to the link to sign up. So make sure you go and do that. All right, back to today's episode.
I think just, having the realization that you can include all things. I think people really are used to rules, right? It's easy to follow like rules like keto. Like stop doing this and but then what happens after? You're not learning all about that. So it's like learning how it's okay, like sit down and really enjoy your food. Like how are you feeling while you're eating it? How is food? Eat slowly. And being aware of your emotions. I think it's really all about awareness.
Yeah, that's a huge component that I think we're so busy taking care of other people. We're never like checking in with ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what would you say to someone who has been kind of like dabbling in maybe figuring out how to like live a healthier lifestyle, but they're struggling on knowing like how to start?
I would just, ask yourself, are your actions matching your goals? Like what are you looking to like, I think, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Whoop.
Yes.
Okay. So I have usually like a lot of my clients fill that out. Like who is the person that you want to be? Right?
Oh, you know what? I'm thinking I was not thinking that. Wait 1 second. I thought you were talking about like the fitness tracker. Isn't it called a Whoop?
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
It is mental contrasting framework. So I learned this in my mindset course, right? So it's like, who do you wish, like, what do you desire? So I have to map it all out, right? And the outcome, okay, that's the O, like, what is your ideal state at the end? What does that look like? And what barriers are you going to face? So they're kind of like visualizing their process.
Yeah.
So, mapping that out, visualizing it. It was wish outcome. What is your ideal state at the end? How do you feel? And what does that look like? And then it would be the obstacles. And then the P would be planning, like reflecting on that. What will you do? Like, and I encourage them to face those challenges. So when they have it all written down, it kind of like gives them a visualization of what they really want, who they want to be, and what may stop them. So they already know. So when that happens, they're like, okay, I already saw this coming. Now I know I can maybe do this.
They're planning ahead for sure.
Yeah.
So, okay. So one of those, as you're talking about like barriers or obstacles or things that might get in the way, I find like a lot of, I know you work with mostly women. Do you work with men too, or mostly women?
Mostly women, but I have a few men as well. Yeah.
So, I feel like a lot of, I same in my boat. I work with men, but mostly women. And a lot of them, I feel like tend to, either where their barriers lie or like whatever their husband's eating, or maybe like when they're out with friends on a weekend. And like, so they might have this commitment to themselves that maybe, they're not going to they're not going to get the appetizer, the main course, the dessert, and the wine like all together in one, right? But then everyone else is doing it and they kind of get caught up in the moment. So like it's something like that can be hard, or like they don't want to eat too much after dinner, but then their husband brings out the cake, and then it's like, oh, that's why, So, and we know that you guys, if you listen to my podcast, I feel like I don't have to explain myself, but then again, I have a lot of new listeners. So just as you know that that's totally okay to have cake, and it's okay to, overindulge sometimes, but when it becomes a habit and you have this goal, and those are the things that are preventing you from getting there, we want to have a conversation about it. Right. So do you have a lot of your women where that can end up being where they start to put the blame like on others and on situations, and like, how do you handle that with them?
Also, and then it comes back to planning, and also having those hard conversations with your significant other. They may think they know what you're doing or what your goal is, but have you really explained to them, like, okay, can you please not like ask me if I want cake? I don't. Just before you're even going out. Or of course you can have it, but maybe that was your bright line for the evening. You're going to have an appetizer instead of the dessert, whatever it may be. Having those tough conversations and really, knowing that what you want and that's your goal, it's no one else's. Like, I feel like we have to please people, right? Like people pleasers. Like, oh, I what if they, they're buying dinner, I should have this. It's like, no, you don't have to. You can say no.
Right. Yeah. One thing that we teach in the 6 months of food freedom program is getting really good at learning how to say no, thank you.
Yeah.
It's like a really easy, just no, thank you. You don't have to explain yourself either. No explanation necessary. Just no, thank you. Good. And if they're pushing it on you, that's a projection of them, not you.
And people do that with alcohol too. And I find that with women, they're like, well, my friends are like, have another one. It's like, it's worse than grade school.
Yeah, well, because that's once again, they don't want to drink alone. They don't want to be the only one. It's like, oh, you're not and that's a person who's their relationship with alcohol needs to be looked at often, for sure. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
So let's see. What other questions do I have for you? This is just being that you're here and you tend to challenge a lot of the TikTokers that we see. What's the most, it's just like kind of putting you on the spot, but what's something like most recently that you've saw and you had to challenge because it was just like ridiculous? It's one of the more recent ones.
I'm trying to think. There's the intermittent fasting. I think people pushing their like diets on people. Like, this is the best way. Breakfast is, what did this guy say? Breakfast is a scam. It's
I just saw that. What? Breakfast is a scam. We have to, first of all, let's back up a bit. Breaking the fast, whether you have it at oh my God, like first, no, it's just ridiculous. Yeah. How is breakfast a scam? It's a word.
I know. It's crazy. Like, breakfast is not a scam. So, and then people are like, do I eat breakfast? Or these people believe it. And
I know.
Like, I'm getting tagged in these videos, and I get angry sometimes when I get tagged in these videos. It's like, do you guys know what I'm going to say? Like, I'm so tired of saying the same thing over and over.
Yeah. No, it's so true. Man. It's so true.
Or, people that blame insulin for gain. Like, a lot of people like to throw these big words out there and sound like they know what they're talking about. And if they're feeling this chemistry, then that must be right. Another one that's going around is like gut health. Like, it's huge, heal your gut with this. And
I've actually noticed a big trend with that. And like, your gut health definitely is important and it is necessary, but there's also like a lot of, I'm pretty sure, I don't want to be wrong, but I'm pretty sure one of the MLM companies just came out with like a gut health supplement line. And it's like, because you just find it trendy now. So now you're just going to like add that to your supplement line. But not that you actually care about healing people's guts, because I don't think you have anybody credentialed teaching that. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what I just recently saw like yesterday.
Probably. I wouldn't doubt it.
But like, and it is, your gut health is important. It absolutely is. However, a lot of the foundational things, and that's what I'm going to get into next, Beth, is I know we have very similarly aligned in like just some foundational things that you should be incorporating and stop trying to overcomplicate and do all the things. If you are doing these foundational things, chances are your gut health will improve. Chances are you'll have a good foundation to then be able to enter a calorie deficit safely if you are trying to achieve fat loss. Like and it's going to be easier to adhere to it as well. Like, I think you don't need to jump to these extremes. You just got to do the basics. So, Beth, I would love for you to share. We'll end with this today. What are some like foundational basics that everyone listening to this, and I hate to say everyone, but let's say 90.9% of the people here listening could implement and find success in their relationship with food, their energy, their progress, just whatever it is that they're trying to do to live a healthier lifestyle?
I think rather than thinking of things that you should get rid of, you should think of things that you can add, right? So most people do not have enough fiber in their life. And we all know fiber is good for pooping. So
Yay!
Gut health, right? So get more fiber in, more fruits and veggies, whole grains, like things that you think are bad, like oatmeal and, things like that. And like water, focusing on sleep. Sleep is so underrated.
Yes. Sleep is everything. Sleep is everything.
Just a balanced plate. I think just people don't know how to balance their plate, like making sure they have a protein to make sure that they're full. They're going to stay full, and then have the fiber, the fruits and veggies, and have the complex carbs and the fats.
Yeah.
It's people overcomplicate it.
Yeah. And guys, honestly, I think try that for like 30 days.
Yeah.
Instead of doing like Whole 30 or like a 30-day cleanse or a 30-day detox or whatever you want to call it, just try for 30 days, drinking more water, getting adequate sleep, and eating balanced meals that are nutrient dense. Not that you can't have the cake or whatever outside that. You can do all the things, but make those the priority. Make that the foundation. Yeah. And we should try this. Guys, if you're listening to this and you decide to do that, just tag me and Beth and let us know on Instagram. Yeah. Let us know that you're going to, I don't even want to call it a 30-day challenge. I want to vomit just by the name of that. Cause it's just so like, how do you feel? Like there's so many things out there. 30-day challenge, 30-day challenge. I know. Your snarkiness is coming through. I normally am not one to do any like digs or anything like that, but I don't even,
but a 30-day challenge is good. Like I do 30-day challenge. Like Jordan Syatt is really big on 30-day challenges.
It's true. It's true.
It's not like a diet challenge, right? We're not doing like a 30-day weight loss challenge, like a 30-day like no alcohol challenge even, or 30-day build a healthy plate, like rather than like 30-day no sugar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think they can be definitely helpful. So definitely let us know if you decide to give up dieting and embrace balance instead for 30 days. Let's do that. Amazing. So Beth, anything else you want to share that we didn't talk about today?
I think people need to realize that they can do hard things, right? I love that saying, we can do hard things, and that, get away from looking for the next best thing, or that shiny object.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. The dangling carrot, I think it's another analogy. Yeah.
Because you're just going to keep spinning your wheels.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. And just put your head down, get to work, and you can do it. Yeah. I think the hardest thing for people is patience.
For sure.
That's the hard thing we want you to do. You can do hard things. You can be patient.
You build a lifestyle that you can stick to, and everyone's like, well, I don't know if I wanted to do that or to be like a pizza all the time. It's like, no, come on. We got to stop being sarcastic here. Like, you know what I mean? You should be eating more fruits and veggies. We really know deep down what we probably should be walking more. There's always something
things that make you feel good too. Like, and you can have your pizza, but if you only have pizza and you don't have any fruits and veggies that day, and you don't or any proteins, like you're not going to feel good. That's it. Right. That's the simplicity of it. Yeah. Totally. Oh, this has been so great. So let people know where they can find you, Instagram, TikTok, wherever.
I am Beth Feraco Fitness everywhere. So BethFeracoFitness.com is my website, Beth Feraco Fitness on TikTok, and Beth Feraco Fitness on Instagram.
Amazing. And you have a podcast?
Yes. Cut the Crap with Beth and Matt, with Matt Vandelar, I should say.
Yeah.
On Spotify, iTunes, Google.
Amazing. Yeah. So I had the pleasure of being on their podcast. I want to say a month or so ago. It was really, really great. And Matt's actually going to be on, I think I'm recording with him next week. So you guys will hear Matt as well. He's really very, very similarly aligned to kind of our methods and values, but it's a male perspective, which actually I'm really looking forward to, because I feel like I have a lot of women that I interview, and it'll be cool to get a man's perspective, because men struggle with body image too. Men struggle with their relationship with food too. Men struggle with giving up the quick fixes too. So it's going to be exciting to kind of hear his perspective. But anyways, Beth, thank you so much for being here. Like I said earlier, thank you for all that you do to challenge the BS that's out there. Cut the Crap is like the perfect name for your podcast. Like literally, it's so good. It's so good.
I don't even know how we came up with that, but
it's great. It's so great. But if you guys are not following Beth on Instagram, TikTok, make sure you follow her. It's really, really great content. If you're not subscribed to the Tips with Tony podcast, definitely hit that subscribe button. A new episode comes out every Tuesday and Thursday. And when you're subscribed, you don't miss a beat. All right. As always, thank you so much for listening. This is Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time.